السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته دكتور خالد.
يا أهلا وسهلا بحضرتك. So I will start because this is a very long session. So I will start from the beginning. How to study for SCE and European Board examination. This is just a summary, rapid summary. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته دكتور شباب. As you know, specialty certificate examination in endocrinology and diabetes. This is the SCE and European Board. Initially, the official website for subspecialty examination is mrcbuk.org. So any data about MRCB, SCE in endocrinology and diabetes, you will find it in this official website. And fees, dates, and so on. So the next examination will be after 3 months in the 14th of June 2023. And of course, the application period and the fees will be paid at the application period from 22 of Feb to 22 of March 2023. This is at that time, the official website will you can apply for the next exam. Usually it is about 3 to 4 months before the time of the exam, and the results will be released for weeks after the exam. The exam is computerized. It is 200 questions for both SCE and European Board. Of course, the SCE and European Board examination are the same resources, the same tools, the same question bank, and so on. But from this year, European Board examination will be in another date other than SCE. So this is for SCE will be in 14th of the June 2023, and this is the certificate for who pass the exam. European Board, actually the official website for European Board is the official website for European Society of Endocrinology. Previously they have a specific website, but since a few months it is blocked, and the official website is esc-hormones.org. This is the official website, and they mentioned that the next exam will be held in 8th of November 2023. All other data about the fees and the application form and so on will be sent via your email after applying this application form from European Society of Endocrinology official website. And this is the certificate after passing the exam. Exam date for SCE, as I mentioned, it will be held in 14th of the June 2023, and for the European Board, as I mentioned, 8th of November 2023. So this is a preparatory course for the European Board examination, which will be held after 7 months from today. For SCE, anyone will be apply for this exam can join us in the revision course. Today, inshallah, I will go with the 7th session for the revision course. The examination fees for the SCE examination, it is 875 UK pound. So this is changed from the previous one. And for the European Board, it will be about 800 euro. Actually, in the since 2 years, it is 750, but the current fees for the current examination they did not mention about it, but it will be around 800 euro, not sterling. Examination format, it is 200 question of best of 5. You need to choose the best answer for each question. And actually questions, 200 questions are distributed for all chapters of the endocrinological disorders. The big, most of the question, about 34% of the question for diabetes, and about 18% for the thyroid. So you need to study diabetes very well and also thyroid. 10% for hypothalamus, 10% for the adrenal, 10% for gonadal, about 8% for parathyroid and calcium, and 10% for others, obesity and lipids and so on. So you need to focus on the most important topics before the exam, diabetes and thyroid. And of course, the hypothalamus and pituitary, adrenal, and so on is very important for the exam. What you need from today till the exam, the most important reference is Oxford Handbook of Endocrinology and Diabetes, actually. Don't waste your time in Williams textbook, in Oxford textbook, in a Greenspan, and so on. The most important reference is Oxford Handbook of Endocrinology and Diabetes, 3rd or 4th edition. Please read it from the first page to the last page, because each paragraph can contain a question in the final exam. Each number may be presented in the final exam as a question, but don't forget that a lot of questions are repeated from the previous exam. So you need to study the previous exam, recall very well, because about 30% of the questions will be repeated. So you need only to study Oxford Handbook of Endocrinology and Diabetes as a reference from the first page to the last one. After that, and this is a very important step, is solving more and more questions. A lot of questions. Before applying for the exam, try to solve at least 2,000 of questions, different questions, and read the explanation for each question and the sources of the question. The best one is best of 5 MCQs for the endocrinology and diabetes. This is the 2nd edition. This is the Atul book. This is very important resource for solving question for SCE and European board. It contains about 320 questions distributed in the for diabetes, pituitary, thyroid, gonadal, adrenal, and parathyroid. And don't forget to read the explanation for each question and study it very well. Another source for the solving question is Study BRN official website. And I already collect all question for Study BRN. I sent it for who subscribe with me. The latest edition is a 2022 edition, and it contains about 750 questions distributed on various chapters. Another important source is British Medical Journal on Examination official website. It contains about 700 questions for the SCE, and you need to study it. And also I upload the updated one, 2022 questions. Another very important source is Exam Labs. Exam Labs contains 200 questions, similar to the questions in the final exam. And each year they already pick up about 30 questions from the exam lab and put them in the final exam as it is, the same options and the same orders. So if you need to study one question bank before 1 day before the exam, please let it Exam Lab. Exam Lab, the one of the most important question bank before applying the exam. Try to solve it several times, and at the end of the 1 day before the exam, please review Exam Lab carefully. Another very important source to know the difficulty of each questions in the final exam is official website. MRCB UK have similar questions to the final exam. It contains about 70 questions, difficulty questions. You need to review them very twice or 3 times before the exam. And in my course, I cover all of these questions bank in this course. Another very important tool to study before the exam is collection of a previous exam recall. We already have recall from 2016, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And inshallah, I will cover a 23 question recall after 3 months. So a previous exam recall is very important because in the final exam, about 30 questions will be picked from the previous question. So anyone go through previous exam, he will find that about 30 questions in the next exam will be the same scenario from the previous recall. At the end, don't forget to read the summary of important guidelines and the most important guidelines before the exam, GBDS guideline for diabetes. Don't forget that the diabetic ketoacidosis, hyperosmolar hyperglycemic state, management of hypoglycemia in hospitalized patient, stroke and enteral feeding. This is a very important guideline. And also for the NICE guidelines, the most important guideline, NICE guidelines, diabetes during the pregnancy, hyperparathyroidism, thyroid disorder, and also the Endocrine Society guidelines. Some of them are important: primary aldosteronism, adrenal cytoma, and also European Thyroid Association guidelines. The summary of these guidelines. If you have a time, please read these guidelines. If you have no time, don't waste your time in these guidelines. And inshallah, I will cover the summary for all important guidelines in my course. If you want to pass easily for the European Board and SCE examination, please start from today by reading from the Oxford Handbook and solving a lot of questions. So this is the most important slide to revise, to know the sources and how to study. Oxford Handbook is mandatory. Best of 5 MCQs at all book, study BRN, exam lab, official website. If you have time, please review on examination and the practical diabetes. And if you have another time, please review the guideline. And lastly, don't forget the previous exam recall is mandatory before the exam. So this is the most important sources for preparation for SCE and European Board. And actually for SCE, the same as European Board, the same tools and the same resources. So inshallah, from today, I will start my course for European Board examination, which will be held in 8th of November 2023, and I will try to cover the most important topics. The main difference from the previous course for SCE, I will focus on the most important topics. I will not expand as previously. I will just focus on the most important topics for the exam. Inshallah, I will cover all topics for the Oxford Handbook, and I will cover more and more questions in this course. So I will start by the calcium in neuroendocrine and syndromes. And actually, why I start by this topic, because in the previous SCE I did not cover this topic. So I start by it to all who apply for SCE can join us in this course. And then I will go to the thyroid, which is very important topic, diabetes and pituitary. And lastly, I will finalize before the exam by the adrenal reduction and pediatric. So if anyone has any request or any question about SCE and European Board, it is a welcome before starting parathyroid disorders.
أساساً حضرتك يا دكتور، هو هيبقى فيه مراجعة ولا إحنا لغاية آخر وقت هنكون بندرس؟
على حسب. I will try to do a revision before the exam, but actually we have only about 7 months, so I will try to manage this later. And actually after each one I will do a rapid revision, but I will focus on the most important topics for the exam. I will not expand as previously because we have no time. If you have a time, so you can do a lot of things before the exam, but we have no time. for European board. We just have 7 months. This is just sufficient to study Oxford handbook and solve a lot of questions. And لو ما كانش في وقت على الاقل رايح اعمل مشاركه للملفات الفيديو بتاعت الريفيجن كلها للمجموع.
شكرا يا فندم، شكرا.
دكتور خالد بعد اذن حضرتك if I'm planning to join the course and I has also the plan to join
SCE
June exam.
Yes,
so
2024. Is it correct,
please?
Dr. Michael? 2024 or 2023?
No, 2023.
2023. I recommend to apply for the revision course. Actually, the revision course, this is the most important for you. Revision course, we already, and inshallah, you can join us today. I will do a revision solving question for the adrenal and gonads today, inshallah. In the previous 7 weeks, I already covered thyroid and solving question for the thyroid. And also I do a revision for diabetes and solving question for diabetes. And in the previous Friday, I already covered a revision for the adrenal and gonads. And today, inshallah, I will cover question for the adrenal and gonads. This is a revision. This is a preparatory course for the June 2023 exam. And after that, if you want to continue European board, you can just send not the European board full fees, just subtract the fees for the revision course. For example, the revision course fees is $200 or its equivalent in for the Egyptian pound. If you will apply for a European board after that, you just send $150, not $350 for European board. So anyone apply for previous course can apply for any future course without any extra fees. Just complete the future fees. Okay.
So will it be enough time if I take the revision course to join June exam?
If you already have a
my exam?
According to your level in the endocrine, if you start from today, it is not sufficient time. But if you already study Oxford handbook and you already solving a question from the in the previous months, you can join us and you can pass easily. But if you will start from this 0 point, so I think 3 months is not sufficient, except if you have a high experience in endocrinological disorders and you already familiar with the question. Because the question you will join us today, inshallah, in the solving adrenal and gonad question. And if you solve most of this question, so you can enter the next exam easily. But if it is difficult for you, so I will suggest to postpone this for European board in the November 2023 or the next SCE examination in 2024, not June 2023.
Okay. When will be this questions, Doctor?
After the parathyroid session. Today I will cover parathyroid session. This is for European board. And after that, immediately I will go to the adrenal and gonads question. This is for revision course, and all of you can join both sessions without any extra fees.